concept with respect to data structure. So first we'll understand, or first we'll know the definition of loop. So it is a programming structure used to repeatedly carry out a particular instruction or statement until a condition is true. So each single repetition of loop is known as iteration of the loop. So the meaning of this definition is, if you want to repeat a statement n number of times, assume I want to repeat the statement for 10 times, so that I can repeating the statement up that 10 times, we call it as a loop. Means same statement is doing executing multiple times, we call it as a loop. And three important components of any loop is, first you have to initialize, that is what, from where exactly it want to start, and test condition, up to what condition that line should execute. So next is condition, and finally the third important component is updating. So once it initialized, for every iteration it should get update in such a way that once it reaches to the end, that is condition, automatically the loop should get end. So in any loop we have three important components. First one is initialization, test condition, and the third last one is updating. So as I shown in the example, so in initialization example, so CTR, control is equal to 1 or I is equal to 0, or whatever the variable we are going to take in our program. So we are initializing that variable to 0. That is first initialization. It should start with 0. Next, again, test condition. My CTR should be less than or equal to 500, or I not equal to 0, or I is equal to or less than equal to 5. Means that many iterations it will take care with respect to the statement which is there in loop condition. Next is updating, where for every iteration plus 1, either you can increment the loop or you can decrement the loop, so that you can go with both the cases, either you can increment or decrement. Next, loops can be classified into two types based on the placement of test condition. So first one is pre-test loop, and the second one is post-test loop. So these are the two classified types with respect to the test condition. So first we'll understand pre-test. As the name itself says, pre. So if the test is given in the beginning, we call it as pre-test. Before loop starts, if we go with a test condition, we call that kind of statements are pre-test loop, or also called as entry controlled loop. Entry controlled loop. So you can see the diagram or a flow chart with respect to my pre-test loop, where entry is a starting point of your program. As soon as it come entry, first it will go with a test condition. So for this, one more example I can take is your engineering degree, where if you want to start your engineering degree, first you have to take up the test. So that is what either PGCET or whatever the entrance exam is there with respect to your engineering category. So you have to take that test. So if you pass in that test, body of the loop will be executed. Then you can go for a counseling. Then you can select whatever the stream you want. So if you fail in that test, you are not supposed to go for an counseling, engineering counseling. You have to come back from a complete program. So this is how pre-test loop works. So here the condition will be at the beginning of the loop, and this is also called as pre-test loop, and it is also called as entry controlled loop, where when it going to entry, then only we are going to check with some condition. If condition is true, then only we are allowing inside my program. If the condition is false, automatically it will not allow inside, it will directly go out of the loop. So here while is a keyword which can be used. So that, for example, I'm taking while is a keyword where can be used. Next we'll go with post test loop. So this is one more category. By the name itself says post test condition is given at the end of the loop. Such loops are known as post test loop, or also called as exit controlled loops. So exit control in the sense, after joining engineering degree, so in order to join, you have to take up the test, that is pre-test. After completing engineering, you have to take up the placement exams, or you want to take up any other competitive exams. So based on a degree, you are going to take up the further exams. So that is what post test, after completing. So body of a loop will get executed. After that, again, we are going with the test. If you pass, again you will join with some other course. Again you will go with the body of the loop. If not, you will come out of that department or out of that placement exam. So here the condition is at the end of the loop. That's why it is called as post test loop. And it is also called as exit controlled loop because condition is test after body of the loop is executed at least once. So here at least once body of the loop will get execute. So it will give chance to write exam, that at least once it will give chance. If you pass, you will get another chance, or if you will get another chance to go inside a body. If not, you will come out of the program. For example, for this, do and while are keywords which can be used here. So next, we'll move on to the concept of looping, where C language provides three looping structures, namely while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So the loops may be classified into two general categories. One is counter controlled loop, means definite repetition of loop. Assume that you know that this statement want to repeat for 10 times. So that kind of a definite repetition loop will come under counter controlled loop, where you know that how exactly or how many times this statement should get executed. So we know the destination, we know exact number where how many times the same loop will get executed. We call it as counter controlled loop. And one more is sentinel controlled loop, where indefinite repetition of times value. Some loops are indefinite, so that used to change loop control expression from true to false. So next we'll move on to the concept of looping, where we already know that entry controlled loop and exit controlled loops are there. So we'll see hierarchical structure of looping. So once you start the concept of looping, you will get two categories: entry controlled, exit controlled. Coming to entry controlled, for loop, while loop are the example of entry controlled, and exit controlled, do while loop is an example. So you can see the hierarchical structure over here, and even syntax also I'm given here. So coming to entry controlled, first it will go to the for, and for syntax, initialization, condition, updation. Then if it is true, it will go inside my for. Again coming to while first only it will checks condition. If the condition is true, then only it goes inside. So for this, we can say that it is entry controlled. Next is exit controlled, where condition will be checked after one iteration or one execution. That is what do will do first, and then it will check the condition. We call it as do while. So first we'll go with while loop. So as we know that it is a pre-test loop, also known as entry controlled loop, and syntax shown here, that is while, first while, and then condition is there. If condition is true, then it will go inside my while and execute the statements or a block which is there inside my while category. So in the syntax given above, while is a keyword and the condition is at beginning of the loop. So if test condition is true, then only body of the while will get executed. After execution of the body, test condition is once again evaluated, and if it is true, again body is executed once again. Means until condition goes fail, it will keep on repeating the statement. That is what we are speaking now. That is the concept of looping. This process repeats until condition finally becomes false and control comes out of the body of the loop. So once condition is false, it will come completely outside from that while condition. So next, we'll see the flow chart with respect to while, where rhombus we used in order to show the condition, where first condition will be mentioned with respect to my syntax, that is while. If condition is true, then it will go to the body of the loop. Again it goes to the condition. Again if it is true, again it executes body of the loop. Again it goes to the condition. If it is true, again it executes body of the loop. So this will be continued until condition false. Once condition false, it will not go to the body of the loop. It will come out of that while condition and it goes to exit or stop the program. So this is how the loop or while loop works. We'll see one basic example with respect to my while loop, where this program is to find the sum of n numbers. So here the n I'm initialized to 10, where this program finds the summation from first number to 10th number, and I is initialized to 1. So it starts with 1. And initializing my sum value is equal to 0. So rather than storing some junk values, or rather than initializing empty variable, I'm initializing or I'm giving the value 0 to sum. So anyway, we are speaking about while loop, where while and condition. What is the condition here? I less than or equal to n. So at my first iteration, you can see here the first round, n is 10 and I is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is true. Once it is true, automatically it comes to the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Value of sum is initialized to 0 for first iteration, plus what is the value of I? 1. 0 plus 1, 1. So 1 will be updated in the place of 0, and the now sum value is 1, that you can see in your first round. See, after doing summation, next statement is I is equal to I plus 1. First time I value is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Now the I value is 2. Again it will go to the while now. Whether 2 is less than 10, less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. If it is true, again it will go to the formula, that is sum is equal to sum plus I. Now the sum value is 1. 1 plus what is I value? 2. So you will get 3. So 3 will be stored in sum. Again I will get increment, that is 2 plus 1, 3. So that you can see in my second round. So this kind of looping will continue until this condition fails. See, assume that my I value is 10 now. So 10 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is true, because equals to is there. It is not less than, but it equals to 10. Assume again it became increment 11. 11 is less than or equal to 10. No, that time condition fails. Once it condition fails, automatically it comes off this complete blue color state program, and it will finally go to the printf statement, where it will print the value which is there in the variable sum. So this is the concept of while loop. So next we'll see do while loop. So it's an exit controlled loop actually. So this is also used to repeat m number of statements n number of times, so that you can repeat. So that is a concept of looping, but position or test conditions are little different. So you can see the syntax. First there is a concept of do. After that it will go to the body of the do. Finally it will go to the condition. If again condition is true, again it will go to the do. It executes the body. If condition fails, it will come out of it. So by that time, one time the loop will be executed. So in do while, first it will execute the body of the loop, as I said, and then it will test the condition. So this process repeated until condition remains true. Once condition become false, then the control goes out of the loop and execute next statement. And one important thing I've given your notice, in do while loop, the loop body will execute at least once irrespective of the test condition. Why? Because first it will go with do, then only it will check with condition. So at least once it will execute the condition which is there in my do. So next we'll see the flow chart. So as we understood the concept of syntax, where first there is a concept of do. It will start doing. So directly it will go to the body of the loop. After going or after finishing body of the loop, it will go to the condition statement, where while condition is mentioned. If this condition is true, again it will go to the do. Again it executes body of the loop. Again it will go to the condition. Again it repeats until condition fails or false. Assume that now condition is false. If it is false, it will not go to the do statement. Directly it will come out of the condition or out of the loop, and it will finally go to the exit or stop state. So we'll see one example. I'm taking same example with respect to my do while as well. Sum of n natural numbers, where n is initialized to 10, I is initialized to 1, and sum is again I'm initialized to 0. So first I will go with the do. What is sum is equal to sum plus I? It starts doing summation. So actually my sum value is 0 for a first iteration, plus I value is 1. 0 plus 1, you will get 1. That will be stored in sum, and I will be incremented to I plus 1. That is 1 plus 1. You can see my in, what is that? So first round. So that sum is initialized to 0, and I is equal to 1 for the first round. Second round, again n is equal to 0 will be there. Sum will be updated, because sum is equal to sum plus 1, 0 plus 1, 1, and I will become 2. That is my second round. After that, again condition will check what is my I value. I value is 2 now. Whether 2 is less than 10 is exactly true. Again it will go to the do. So like this, it completely repeats the statement until this while condition fails. Assume my I is 11 now. 11 is less than equal to 10? No, that time condition fails. If this condition fails, it will not go to do statement again. It will come out of the program. Finally, it will go to the last printf statement which is there in my program with respect to printing the value which is there in the variable sum. So finally, it prints the value which is there in sum. So this is all about your do while. So next we'll see the difference between while and do while. This is very, very important. So once you understood while, a small change with respect to do while. So we'll differentiate together in a single slide. So anyway, you people know the syntax now. So in while, first condition will come, then statements will execute. do while, first it will go to the do, I mean statement of body, then it will check condition. That is with respect to syntax. Next is with respect to controlling condition. In while, the controlling condition appears at starting of the loop. We call it as pre-test or entry controlled loop. So coming to do while, it's the control condition appears at the end of the loop. We call it as a post-test or exit controlled. Next, coming to iteration part, if the condition is false at the first iteration, then body will not execute. It will not go inside of my while loop. But in do while, if the condition is false at the first iteration, then also the body will be executed at least once. So this is a major difference between a while and do while loop. So next we'll go to one more loop. We call it as a for loop, where it is another pre-test loop. So in order to execute this for, first test condition, first the condition will be executed. So it then provides loop control structure. So, and it has one keyword called for. The general syntax as shown here. For, in that three categories are there. One is with respect to initialization, and second one is with respect to test condition. Third is with respect to updation. So once this condition and this initialization is true, then it will go to the body of the loop. So one important aspect of for is all three components of loop, that is initializing, test condition, updation, is given in the head of the for loop. We call it as head of the for loop. So assuming an example, initialization, I'm initializing I is equal to 1, and test condition I is less than equal to 10, updation I plus plus. So by that what we understood that initialization I starts from 1 until I is less than equal to 10, body of the loop will keep on executing. So that is what repeating the same statement again and again. And updation, for every iteration, it will increment I value by 1. That is I is equal to I plus 1 or I plus plus. So we'll see the flow chart of that. Syntax format of for loop is, first there is a for, in that initialization, condition, increment. If it is true, it will go to the body of the loop, and again it will go with executing. So it will come back for the for until this condition fails. If this condition fails, then it will go to the exit or stop. And one more important note with respect to my for loop is, in for loop, whether you can use I plus plus or plus plus I, means post increment or pre increment operation, but it will be treated as pre increment only. So this is very important with respect to for loop. So next we'll see the same program with respect to my for loop, where we have seen this program with respect to while and do while. So rather than doing while and do while, we go with for. So again, first is initialized to 1, that is I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, and I plus plus. So what is the value of I? 1. 1 is less than equal to n. What is the value of n? 10. Yes, it is true, because 1 is less than or equal to 10. If it is true, it will go to the inside statement which is there with respect to for. That is sum is equal to sum plus I. 0, some value, plus I value is 1. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 will be updated in my sum. Again, it goes to the for loop and increments I value to 2. Now I value is 2. Whether 2 is less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. Again, it will go to the sum. Sum is sum plus I. What is the value of sum? For first iteration, 1. 1 plus, again, I value is 2. 1 plus 2, 3. So like that, summation will be continued until my condition fails. That is, if I is equal to 11, 11 less than or equal to 10, no. That time condition fails, it will not go to the formula to find sum. Directly, it will come out of the for loop, and finally it goes to the printf statement, where it prints the value which is there in sum. Thank you.